Hey everybody, Greg here. Today we talk to the one and only Kerri Curtis. We have a wonderful, wide-ranging chat about all things art, what inspires us, and those wonderful markers that you could smell in the 90s. Encourage kids to smell markers and it would be like, cherry for red and orange would be orange, and Anyway, great talk. Let's roll tape. Hey, who are you?
Yeah, so I'm Kerri Curtis.
Welcome to the show, Kerri.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So, what brings you to watching paint dry? I sense perhaps you watch a lot of paint dry.
That's funny you say that. I actually do. And I have to say that watching paint dry, the podcast, is way more interesting than actually watching paint dry.
Are there like specific colors that are more interesting to watch paint dry? Like
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, my favorite color is Prussian blue. So
Prussian
basically,
blue?
yes, Prussian blue. Russian with a P.
Yeah,
So yeah, I would say that one because then you can see how it changes as it
I
dries.
have to look that up actually. Was this
Yeah.
like part of the like 64 Crayola?
Oh, I don't believe so, no. Like, I didn't hear I'm kind
Wow.
of late to the art thing, like, I didn't get into painting until my 30s.
Really?
So, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. My mom said, she always thought that I would get into art, but, I was kind of a late bloomer in that sense. I did other things. I wrote and, yeah, I wrote poetry, stories,
Wow.
and
This is well I'm gonna say wow a lot because like full disclosure, I don't know you at all.
no, I know. Seriously, yeah, this is our
But
first time
yeah,
speaking.
but it's
So,
very nice to meet you, and it's been nice to actually. I That's not entirely true. I know you a little bit, but
yeah,
our
yeah.
creative content community, which I've been trying to grow since I started Twitch. Uh,
Hmm.
you're a rising bright star in it because you've shared a, a great deal of your work, which is very impressive and very uh, interesting, very abstract, uh,
Yeah,
and um, your style seems so um, seasoned,
different.
like as if you've been doing this, like you've honed the craft, and this is like the specific, uh,
Yeah.
calling card look. I don't know, all of the above, all the thesaurus words. So I was really impressed by that, and I'm quite surprised to hear that you're relatively new to painting.
Yeah, it's been about 6 years, I want to say. So, I mean, a lot can change. I mean, I look back, like I have a room full of canvases, so I can look back on my previous works and see the style changes and layering techniques or just, paint strokes. I talk with my hands a lot, by the
That's
way.
good.
So,
This is a visual medium.
yeah, so you're going to see a lot of this.
Just don't like
But
do the wrong gesture.
oh, I know, yeah. That'll be bad.
No gang signs allowed.
Yeah, no, no, not at all. But yeah, I can see, personally, even for me, how much my own, the way that I approach it has changed. So I don't know. So it'll be neat to see in 6 more years, what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm trying to personally work on my like interview skills in real time to
Mm-hmm.
everyone else's detriment watching these. But I uh I think it's always good to perhaps start from the beginning. And you mentioned that I would guess you've always been into just uh, creating things, the creative process. Uh,
Hmm.
what was like your pre-painting uh, art life like?
Oh goodness. Yeah, a lot of poetry. I self-published a poetry book when I was like right when I turned 30 or 29, I believe, a long time ago. And now I'm kind of mortified, and I'm glad that not a lot of people know about it.
Oh no.
So, but I mean, I still love poetry. I mean, it's something that I've been doing since I was a teenager, and I used to like rhyme and stuff. So I don't rhyme anymore. I took a class and I took it one step at a time. But and aside from that, I did a lot of stuff with music. I helped to run a independent music website, and we wrote reviews and we did interviews and all of that stuff like before TikTok and like short videos got really popular.
Wow.
Yeah, we were all about words. And I like to talk about that, do album reviews and interviews and just gush over music artists and stuff. And then once that kind of fizzled out, and went through a huge writer's block, and I thought, why not try painting? I've always wanted to. And I thought, I'm not good at drawing, so do I really deserve to try painting? And that's what held me back for the longest time. And so I had to give myself permission to just try it and even be bad at it.
Well, that's huge, and I think that's far from uncommon. And I think that's
Hmm.
what, the message that I try to push with this community is, to just influence and inspire others to just get creating.
Hmm.
And what you realize is you sort of fall into a self spell of getting just completely present with the work and the
Yeah.
joy that brings, that the final product gets less and less important. Not to
No, I know
not
what
to
you mean
downplay, not to
though.
trivialize, the results that we want to achieve, but
No,
uh,
but yeah, the process is just as important as the end
yeah.
product.
But
Yeah.
I would
Oh, for
agree,
sure.
to make this entirely about myself. I felt the same way, 100% with regards to visual art, uh, filmmaking, photography. I didn't really grow up with a camera. Um,
Hmm.
my only exposure to a camera would be like, that rare family party where there'd be disposable cameras
Oh
on,
yeah,
the table to
yeah.
take. So there, there definitely is this like inner battle of like, am I good enough to even pick up the camera, the paintbrush, whatever?
Yeah, and then especially when, you have to buy the camera and to buy the supplies, and it's like, "Oh, am I worth spending that money when it may not even be good?" You So, you have to like justify and say, "Hey, you are worth it. You deserve it because even if it brings you happiness and it sucks, that's okay too."
Yeah, it's
You
all
know?
about, time well spent. And
Yeah.
as I'm dead air, not time well spent, as I'm trying to think of a segue.
No, and I mean, like, I know, like, Jake the dog, from Adventure Time, he says sucking at something is the first step of being sort of kind of good at
There you
something.
go. Jake the dog,
So,
shout out. One of the good
yes.
dogs of the cartoon world.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I just
One of my
saw this
favorites.
is this well, I was gonna say unrelated, but it is related. The voice of Courage the Cowardly Dog will
Hmm.
be uh, at a sort of Comic-Con-esque convention in Westchester, New York this June. Check it out.
Oh, that's
No, I get
fun.
no money for anything from that.
Yeah.
I literally just read that about an hour ago.
I've never been to any sort of conventions, but I would love to one day.
Yeah, I haven't either. Or actually, that's not true. I've been to. I once went to the Jacob Javits Center in Manhattan. Big convention center, has a car show every year.
Oh.
And in like seventh or eighth grade, little Greg was like, I'm gonna get really into cars.
Aw.
But I knew nothing about cars other than, like, I think this one looks cool. So
Yeah.
I remember being given you basically just walk around this huge floor, and they give you, like, promotional pamphlets. And it's
Mhm.
really for people who are, like, of age and financial security to, like, purchase a car, but I remember going to school the next day, it's, like, huge bag filled with it's, like, car pamphlets, and I'm showing everyone, and they're like, "Okay, cool, whatever." Anyway, that has nothing to do with anything. I sometimes feel with some of these memories, it's like, I wish we had the ability that we do with a computer hard drive to, like, be like, "Alright, I'm gonna delete this folder." I don't need to
Oh my
remember the
god.
Jacob Javits Center car show
Yeah.
in of 2002,
Yeah.
but
I have a bunch of those, yeah.
uh, so when you were a kid, it seems that I would venture to guess you're a big reader. I
Yeah.
I would say any artist or any art form, you are pretty much universally telling a story. So I would think storytelling is very important to you. Do you remember, like, that, like, personal sentient artist moment where you're like, "Wow, I love art and I wanna do this," whatever it may be?
Well, I don't know if it was that fully formed, but when I was little, I remember we had this brick fireplace, and it was like, that red brick. And my 5-year-old self was like, this is ugly. I don't like it. And I'm going to paint it and make it
Ooh.
beautiful. Except all I had was like nail polish.
Oh, no.
And so I started painting it, and I had a very short attention span, and I got impatient really quickly. And so I only did like maybe one little square. And then I was like, this is too much work. I don't want to do it. And yeah, my mom was not very happy, but she knew, like, oh, okay, well, she wants to do something artistic, and she loves getting messy, and she's a very tactile person, so I'm sure she's going to be an artist one day.
I love it. I'm glad that I was my irrational fear mind was like, and that's the day little Carrie learned of the word inflammable.
Yeah, no, there was no fire currently going in the fireplace, so yeah, we were good on that front.
Did you grow up, immersed in art at all? Do you have any, like, art teachers or family members who, like, kind of introduced to you or showed you that, like, this is something one can actually do outside of, just crayons on a piece of paper?
Well, my mom actually, yeah, she is an artist, and she is super talented. Like, she's the like, I can see it, whatever I can see, I can draw. But then
Wow.
I can also, sew and do, like, she was very crafty. She would make clothes for my Barbies, and like, but I never played with Barbies. I was like, I had a weird thing about like toys. Like, I didn't play with them. I like to look at them, but then I would go and watch TV or read a book. It was Yeah, I was a strange child. But she would make things for us. She would help us with all of our school projects, and so I knew it was always there, and it was always something that could be done, you
Yeah,
know. And then even in school, I know public school has changed a lot over, like, even like, there's an age difference between the two of us, but I'm sure you probably had a actual art class with a classroom and a teacher,
yeah,
right? But yeah, and I had that too. And I just remember the classroom was amazing. And there's the big, closet with the doors that opened and all the crayons and the paints, and it smelled amazing. And the paper. And like, that just doesn't happen anymore.
really.
Like, there's no art in schools.
All digital, I would think, maybe, or just
Well,
all STEM.
Well, there's a lot of that, but yeah, and they don't, public schools get gutted with funding, and so they just first thing to go is art and music. Like, did you have a music class
I
when you
did.
were in
Yeah, yeah,
elementary
yeah.
school?
I know what you mean. It is a shame the way we're headed a little bit, or the way we were already arrived. I mean, with
Mhm.
the schools being underfunded, but um, analog art is very much like niche now, uh,
I know,
because of all the
yeah.
technology. And I don't wanna downplay technology, and it's, I'm using it every day for my art,
Yeah.
whether it's, the Adobe Suite or whatnot.
Mhm.
Not whatnot.com, that's the auction website. But, yeah, it's an interesting thing to track, and I am very nostalgic for my childhood in the '90s and
Mhm. Same here.
the the good old days where they would make marker sets that would encourage kids to grow up to smell markers.
Yes, to sniff them, like, it's totally okay, kids. I promise, do it. And then you get to Sharpies and they're like, "No,
Yeah.
don't do it." You're like, "But wait a minute, I was told it was
I
okay."
thought it was gonna be licorice flavor.
Yeah. Go figure.
I think that I kinda so this is where, like, I kinda like this is where I'm sort of lost and stuttering trying to get my thought out is that I like the opportunity technology gives in the sense that
Mhm.
we can, like, talk right now or on other sides of the country, and we
Exactly,
can
yeah,
advocate for these things that maybe a younger kid is stumbled upon this video.
yeah,
Stay,
exactly.
continue watching.
Yeah. Please don't turn it off.
And, yeah, I mean, that's my hope with this podcast and, community is just, like, get Mondo Llama. This is cheap. It's in Target.
Nice.
Support your
Yeah,
mom and pops. Forget Target. Your mom and pops have this too.
yeah.
And get making.
Mhm. Yep. That's why, like, I still buy physical media too, because
Yeah,
I think that's another dying thing, and that makes me so sad,
I know,
you
and
know?
it's the advantage. I mean, I have, but I had a bigger collection of DVDs.
Mhm.
I got rid of a lot when streaming began, but then I realized, why did I do that? Because
Yep.
then they'll have a movie and then it's gone.
Yeah, and then all the special features.
Yes.
I am obsessed with special features. I will watch all the commentaries and the behind the scenes, how it was made, and of course the bloopers. I think every single movie, TV show, whatever should come with bloopers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw bloopers from, like, movies from the '40s just on
Oh my god, Twitter?
Twitter or YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, and like I think I saw something similar and you're seeing like, Cary Grant
Yeah.
or whatever like cursing
Yeah,
and
it's so bizarre because we only see the most curated best of the
prim
best,
and proper.
and
Mhm.
it's not like they all had, phones back then to record everything, so it's like, "Wow, these people
Yeah.
were actually humans and not just, like, these larger than life characters."
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, we did a little pre-chat interview, and Kerri, if you
Yes.
wanna describe a little bit about your art technique and style and what kind of genre you would say it falls into, and then
Oh,
maybe give us a little demonstration
oh goodness. Well,
and go.
yeah, seriously, no pressure, none at all. Yeah, so I do abstract and abstract art. I know a lot of people will say, oh, it looks like, my 5-year-old can do it. Oh, my dog can do it. It's just scribbles, which in some cases, actually, yeah. And I mean, like, if you go back and you look at the history of abstract art, it's fascinating how it has evolved. And, each brushstroke has its own, like, stylistic genre, you know? And then I know I posted it in one of the Discord channels, but about the mother of abstract art, you
Yes.
know, And oh my god, she's amazing. And like they do like a side by side comparison of like her work that was done in like 1906, and then like the her male counterparts, they did it like in 1911, and how like similar it was. So like it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. But for today's exercise, yeah, I wanted to have you try neurographics, which is a newer style that oh, I actually wrote down some notes.
Oh,
So
you
because
you're the you have
I'm
fan.
a
I don't know if
nerd,
you've seen
I'm
the previous episodes of the show.
yeah.
That is the nicest thing anyone has ever done. No
Yeah,
offense, ever previous guests. Usually
no,
we're
I
just
just
making like really lame dick jokes and talking about Zelda.
but like I hate to say it, but like I feel like most people would rather watch that than hear like some nerd girl like rattle
No,
off,
but listen,
facts about
this
like a
is
Russian psychologist or something, you know?
I disagree, but and we will see why.
Okay. Yeah, so back to it. So neurographic art is a type of art style that was created in 2014 by Pavlov Piskarev. I don't know if I'm saying it right. And so the whole point, like he said that he thought of it while he was in an airplane. And so basically, it's assigning emotions and thoughts to line. And then to use it in like therapy and stuff, it helps to like make um, like neuroplasty, like when your brain gets new like little like lines and like helps make new like patterns
Yeah,
and stuff. So repetition can be good and it can also be bad. This is good repetition, so you're making the same lines over and over again, and you assign something positive to it to help erase something bad.
it's
And he even
interesting
like
how we were talking earlier about getting rid of the, Javits Center memory. Everything's
yes,
connected. We're gonna
see,
rewrite if you're still following that tangent, I'm gonna be replacing it finally
yeah,
with with
and
some line
yeah,
therapy.
there you go. And he even like successfully defended it. Like he did a dissertation on it and he like defended it in 2019 or 2020. And so like it's, scientifically proven. So like that's really, really neat. But artists can use it to just help free themselves a little bit and try something new, because I think, yeah, like with my mom, she doesn't do abstract like at all. And she's like, I don't know how you come up with your ideas. I don't know how you do all of this stuff. And I'm like, it's literally all I know how to do. Like, I just kind of channel it or something, I guess. I don't know. But this is a great exercise in mindfulness and like creativity, and it helps you just to be free a little bit.
I love it, and
So,
I'm quite shocked at how new this is. It's a this technique was founded only a decade ago. So
yeah,
that already is very exciting
yeah.
to even just think about.
Yeah. So, if you're ready, I will guide you through
I
it.
got so many different options. I got Is a mechanical pencil a good way to start?
Yeah, you can start with a pencil or a pen, and you can either have your eyes open or
Oh
closed.
boy.
I'll leave that up to you.
Do I look at the paper?
No, ideally, no.
Okay.
You're not looking at the paper, and you just start free drawing. You make lines, circles,
I
squiggles.
really wish we had discussed this earlier because I could have like done a bit like at the end of it
Oh,
and bring up it's like Starry Night or
yes.
something.
Yes. Edit that in. There you go. Yeah, you take a couple of seconds or even a minute or so, and you just kind of just go and just kind of be free with it.
And is this your go-to art technique when you have a new canvas? Are you gonna start this way or it?
No, no, this is for when I need to practice being a little bit more mindful and like
Gotcha.
if I'm having trouble focusing or, I suffer from anxiety. And so
I
if
thought
I'm
I
not,
was the only one.
welcome to, yeah, it's a big club, isn't it? But, sometimes, like, I know a lot of musicians and artists are like, oh, I create best when I'm at my lowest. And I'm not that way. I can't. But this is something that I can do if I'm not physically well enough to like go into my art space and create. I can sit on the couch, have, a comfort show on, and then just kind of work on this. And that way I know I'm still creating, I'm still connecting to that, magic inside of me without actually, painting.
Yeah, I love that. I feel as if you bring up a very important thing that I think is a little bit of an art trap for people who are enchanted by creating things is the romanticized uh experience of art, whether it's like this is more literary, but like Hemingway or Hunter S. Thompson, where like it's
Yeah.
best to be break
A
out your favorite
tortured
bourbon
soul.
or whatever.
Yeah.
uh
Yeah.
don't do that, everybody.
Yeah.
You want to take your
Yeah.
art seriously, and the art should be the bourbon, but at the
Yeah.
same rate, I looked a little, I shouldn't have done that.
That's okay. Because I mean, you will eventually look at it when
Yeah.
you feel like you have enough down, then we'll move on to the next portion.
um I feel the same way a lot, and it's great to know that, uh, and it's great to find a form of art that is therapeutic. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and those moments are very important because you're not only, it's a way of self-soothing, but you're actually secretly, whether you're aware of it or not, getting some batting practice in.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's none of your experiences with creating is a wasted moment. Whether you think whatever you came up with it was good or bad, it's just do it.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think nobody's ever claimed that as a slogan.
I know, right?
uh I think I've explored a good amount of the paper.
So now look down
Not too
and
bad.
yeah. And so your next step, and you can do this with your colors
Yeah,
or,
interesting.
oh, very cool. Okay. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
almost already I kind of see. I don't want to define it for you,
Yeah.
but I see
No.
something in there.
Yeah. And so next, what you want to do is start closing lines to make, more concrete shapes. And you do that however you want. You can do that with the colors already, or you can continue with the pencil and then move on to kind of coloring it in. And yeah. And so, like, with the real, like, physical therapy type of the, neurographic art, they do more straight lines and
Yeah,
stuff and not, so fluid. But we're doing the more artistic version. So,
we're artists.
exactly.
This actually, it reminds me of something I actually did in elementary school art or middle school art. This, and I think I'll put the image here,
Yeah.
and I'll
There
I'll
it
show it
is.
to you later. But I have to dig it up. And my mom was very impressed with it. She still has it. It's in one of the
Aw.
bathrooms.
Yeah,
Um,
hey, don't forget Mother's Day is on
yes,
Sunday, everybody.
Mother's Day's on Sunday. This is definitely probably gonna be posted after. So messed
Yeah.
up. Not
Yeah,
my
you
fault.
messed up. Shame on you for forgetting Mother's Day, everybody.
But and this is pretty advanced. So kudos to my art teacher. back then,
Yeah.
but it was basically make shapes but hide something within.
Mhm.
And I remember it was a picture of a fish, sort of camouflaged with all these different colors.
Oh, that's so
And
neat.
it was, now that I'm thinking about it, it was a very kind of exciting thing to do. Uh,
Yeah.
just as I guess any kid, it's, you learn a new trick and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
But also
Yeah.
it's kind of like a sneaky little thing, like at the same era or so. I don't know if it was before or after, but do you know the famous? I think he was mostly the New York New York Magazine or Vanity Fair, one of these fancy. I don't get fancy magazines. I get like Slam basketball magazine. Not
There you
anymore.
go.
You can't prove that. Uh, Hirschfeld. What was his first?
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
he would hide his daughter's name Nina in uh,
That's really sweet.
each picture, and I thought that was the coolest thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I remember trying that,
Aw.
and but I would use, of course, Greg.
Yes.
So, and they were so easy to find. I shall
Aw.
replicate one and put it here
Right
because
there.
I just learned that I can do that. The realization. But anyway, when did abstract art, enter your orbit? And
Yes.
when it did it make a big enough of impression where like this was something you knew you always wanted to try, or
Yeah. It was like, one of those life-altering, like, "Oh, shit, like, that's what I'm supposed to do," kind of a thing, And, yeah, it's I don't know. It means so much to me, like, not to get cheesy and
no,
whatever, but I'm a cheesy person, like, I love saying I'm so excited about things. I love gushing over things. Like, that's just my
this is
personality.
a safe space.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, art was something, especially with abstract art, it felt so personal to me because you know, it's something special to me, and you can interpret it in another way that's special for you,
Yeah,
And for me, I feel like specifically like my messages or whatever, it's kind of like pulling out all of the like stuff that's like stuck down in your soul and like you just want to get it out, And I think that's perfect for the abstract style.
absolutely.
And it's so freeing, and I mean, and it takes a certain level of vulnerability and bravery to create on any front, and to share it and to be like, hey, I'm completely vulnerable in this moment. Here's something that I made, and I'm like, here, it's a piece of my heart, I'm sharing it with you, world. And the world's like, meh, I'd rather see a cat video if you don't mind. Which I love cats as much as the next person, but
I
that can be
agree with everything you're saying,
yeah.
and I think it's important to, at the very least, try to share, yourself through art.
Mhm.
It may be You'll realize quickly that it's probably way more intimidating to share yourself in any other way. Art is
Yeah,
the,
like
the easy outlet.
exactly.
And
You don't have to say like, "Hey man, I'm scared," or "I'm sad." You can just make a picture and be like, "Hey," interpret it how you want, but I hope that you can guess that I'm sad.
but I think
I guess
that's
humor
also
is a
the
defense
beauty
mechanism.
of art is one's interpretation.
Yeah.
Not just the
Yeah.
artist's intention, but how someone can watch it and or look at it, hear it, whatever sense it
Mhm.
and take it in whichever way they see it. That's
Yeah.
endlessly fascinating to me.
Yes, like David Lynch, I think he was the one that said, like he hates talking about meaning in his shows and
Yeah.
movies and stuff. And he will forever, I respect him for that, even if it drives me nuts.
Yes.
But he's like, once I'm finished and I hand it off to you, that's it. It's no longer mine.
There's that
You know?
that I don't know. It may have been a British interview show, but someone was interviewing him, and he said,
Believe it or not, Eraserhead is my most spiritual film.
Why we'll elaborate on that?
No, I won't.
He
"No."
says no. I love that. Like, we should all be so bold, Just be like, yeah, no. Like, can you imagine if I did that and you're like, tell me about your art? I'd be like, no. Like, okay, I think we're done here.
Well, here's the. I mean, I think I've already illustrated that point.
Oh, very good. Very
Because
good.
we finished step one of this exercise just, I don't know, 5-10 minutes ago, and I already
Hmm.
saw something in your your
Yeah.
sketch that you may or probably didn't intend to make, or probably don't even see. But that's the beauty and thrill of making art and sharing it, because the other person just will see something that you may not even have intentionally missed,
Yeah.
or even put in there, but it's just
Oh,
comes
that,
from
yeah.
that person's way of seeing the world.
That's what I love about that. I'll have, like, I have two kids, they're teenagers, but I'll like ask them, like, oh, what do you think about this piece? And they'll be like, oh, I see ghosts, or I see, oh, there's mountains, or like, they'll see stuff. And I'm like, oh, wow. I'm like, I didn't even see that, like, so it is really cool. But, I volunteered to run their volunteer parent art program in elementary school.
Oh,
And that's how, but like, it's such like, it was really fun, but then it was also heartbreaking, because it's like, I'm not a teacher.
yeah.
Like, I feel like in another life, or in another whatever, maybe I would have been, because I do love, sharing knowledge and stuff. But I would like go through and like research, like, oh, developmentally, what are these kids ready for? Because some kids, under a certain age, can't even comprehend like abstract. They're like, I just, you're in second grade, and I'm like, hey guys, let's make an abstract painting. And they're like, what? Like, I want to draw a horse or a butterfly, you know? But like, that's why I think it's really cool, like, when you like, especially like, if you have kids, or you're around nieces and nephews or whatever, and they're like, oh, they always try to put something to it, like, oh, I see this, or I
Yeah,
see that. And it's just, I don't know, I think it's fun.
absolutely. That's funny mentioning the age, and what one learns and when they learn it.
Hmm.
um it's
Yeah.
again, tangent alert.
Yeah.
And first I'll actually ask you the question: when you were a kid, uh in elementary school, did they ever take you on any field trips that in retrospect seemed like this was way too advanced for the age? Like, it was
I
good that they
wish.
brought us wherever, but
No.
the memories that I'm thinking of personally was they took us in, I think, second grade, to the state capital, Albany, to
Oh,
like learn
really?
about like what the governor does, and nobody retained any proper knowledge. And I'm not just,
Oh,
I can
yeah.
clearly speak for every. What were
Oh,
we, 8 years old?
yeah. Yeah. You're like 7 or 8,
Yeah,
depending on when your birthday is. But
exactly.
yeah. Like, I remember, like, I grew up in Georgia. Like, I was born in New York, raised in Georgia, moved to Arizona, and
Oh,
then now
wow.
I'm here. Yeah, kind of bounced all over the place. But in Georgia, for whatever reason, our field trips would always be the zoo. Or we went to Krispy Kreme one year.
What?
Yes,
The teacher was just wanted a
that
snack.
was a field trip. Yes, and we got to do the behind the scenes, watch the donuts get made,
Oh my
which I
god, that's amazing.
yeah, which I think now, like, that's pretty common all the Krispy Kremes, like they kind of have like the glass now, and you can just kind of watch all of them being
You
made.
don't need like a parent's signature anymore. You could just go
Yeah,
whenever you want.
yeah. But I remember in fourth grade we learned about the Civil War, and so my teacher's like, "We're gonna watch, oh my God, Gone with the Wind,"
Oh,
and I don't know. I was like, I was bored out of my
yeah. For a little kid
mind.
watching Gone with the Wind,
Yeah,
not ready for that.
absolutely not.
Did they like do the edited version where he's like, "Frankly, my dear, I don't care at all."
No, I think it was the real thing because I
They
think,
said the
some
D
of the
word, the
kids,
DAMN
yeah,
word.
yeah, like I think the kids knew like, oh, that was coming at the end of it. And so they're like, yeah, we have to hold out. We have to be good so we can keep watching it.
Do you
Yeah.
know what was the
Oh my.
best? And I mean, it's been immortalized for newer generations through memes and stuff, but that
The,
rollable TV, you knew already.
yeah. Yeah.
You would walk into class and you'd see that baby and you'd say, "Hell yeah."
It's gonna be a good day. Yeah.
Are you very nostalgic for the 90s?
Oh, absolutely. But then like you think about all of the things that, the content. And I'm like, whoa, we're not supposed to say those words anymore. Or like, I can't believe they got away with that. You know.
Yeah, there were some. This it's pretty well known, and you probably cross paths with it. It's
Hmm.
not really even. This isn't like a curse or some, a word that's been the public has learned to not use anymore. It's
Hmm.
just like, why did they make this decision? Because it's a family happy show. Do you remember
Hmm.
the show Dinosaurs?
Yes. Kind of freaked me out, if I'm being
Yes.
honest.
Are
Yeah.
you familiar with
Kind of
the
scared
series
me.
finale?
Yes. It was so messed
Why did
up.
they
Like,
do that to us? I
like
don't
I kind
understand.
I feel like, maybe as adults, like maybe like they would have seen it coming. But yeah, kids, like that's not
We were
cool,
all
man.
lured in by the Tim Burton magic shop or whatever it's called. And
Yeah.
so if you don't know, Dinosaurs was a sitcom of a dinosaur family, and but they're all like dressed in dinosaur uh, suits, and like the baby. It's kind of like a
Not the mama.
yeah, it's like kind of a parody of classic like 50s sitcoms, like
Like it kind of like reminded me of like a live version of like the
yeah,
Flintstones, but
exactly. But it's
with
like reversed.
dinosaurs
That
instead.
some
Yeah.
genius was like, what if the Flintstones were
Yeah.
dinosaurs?
Like what if Dino and his family?
But since it was dinosaurs, and they're like, how do we end this series? This is how they end it.
And it's not like we're going to just disappear.
Yeah. Oh my
Pretty
God.
messed up, huh? Anyway,
Yeah.
when you break out a fresh canvas,
Hmm.
do you have the same approach every time? Do you ever like, I believe what's the saying? Like some artists are gardeners and others are architects. Like, do you plan
Yeah.
things or do
Or
you
it's
just
kind
like
of,
spread seeds and see what develops?
I think my initial
And when did you
approach.
learn how to do the?
Oh God,
I,
ever since I was a kid, I don't
I
know.
struggle with it. I saw Boris do it in Goldeneye, Alan
Yeah,
Cumming, and I
yeah.
can't do it well. Anyway,
I'm a fidgeter. Like I've already like changed seating positions at least 6 times. So like, yeah, it's just yeah. You just I don't know.
I was measuring something earlier, and I was holding a yardstick, and I did like the whole,
Oh, like the
or
thing to make it look like it's rubber or
no,
something.
like I pretended it was like a big like weapon thing, and I did like a twirl and like put it on. It felt really cool.
Of course.
Yeah. Anyway.
Never grew up. Yeah. But yes, so back to your question. I approach it, I try to be as open as I can and not, like if I have an idea. Okay, let me like start over. Take two. Action. Um I used to start with a title first, or like I would have song lyrics or a line of poetry like in my head, and it would
Interesting.
just kind of like repeat, and I'm like, I need to assign something to this, and then like I would make something fitting for it, you know and then other times it's more like I'm drawn to a specific set of colors, which I mean, I kind of use the same set of colors almost in almost every painting I do. So like that's not super different approach for me,
Yeah.
So it usually starts off with a very vague idea, and I think like, okay, I really want to focus on texture. And then I'll think, okay, texture, tool, colors, go. And then I just kind of let myself go.
That's so cool. That seems
Yeah.
very well, I guess it's a hybrid of both approaches. And I think
Hmm.
I can pretty much relate to that. Um I go into well, whatever short film that I've worked on so far, it all begins with the same at the same place, which is okay. What are my limitations?
Hmm.
Because I'm not, Warner Brothers nephew.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Yeah.
and in a way, I guess that's my canvas. So it's as if I have my size, and then I have
Hmm.
my tools, and I have my intention.
Yeah.
Whatever the story I want to tell is, and I put a lot of time and effort into the intention. But when filming actually comes,
Hmm.
there's a lot of uh, organic in real time revisions that may
Oh,
not even
yeah.
make the paper that I'm holding, which is my like directions I've made for myself. It's basically like, okay, I can sort of intuitively feel that the project has shifted in a way
Hmm.
that I didn't quite anticipate on paper.
Yeah.
And that those moments are they can range from like really cool to exhilarating.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And
When you,
I think that too is a lot of the allure of the process is again the creation, like when you're actually
mhm.
doing it, you
Yeah.
can put like so much prep into it, but then when you're actually there, uh wherever it bubbles up from in the
Hmm.
subconscious or wherever,
Yeah.
it's man, it's the best. It really
Yeah,
is.
and it's like you feel like you're alive, right?
Yeah.
You're like, you know, it's like the closest that I could assume like a runner's high or something would feel like, you know? Because like I hear about that all the
Yeah,
time, and
that's
I'm like,
I hear,
I
but
don't
it's
know
still
about
a myth to me, this runner's high. I just
yeah, I
feel
don't know.
side pain.
Yes, right? I feel like I want to stop and have a piece of cake instead.
So, we're not done, but
No,
I think you would agree, art is an ongoing
I really
thing.
like that.
I don't know why I decided to do any of this, but yet I really like how it came out so far, and
Me too.
I do feel I feel grounded in the moment, at the very least, and
Right?
kind of like earlier I was getting worried of tomorrow, it's just dumb mundane things I have to do, and
Yeah.
now I'm just like, all right, whatever,
It's a nice
I'll just do
escape
it.
for a little while. Yeah. It's kind of like watching a movie, but not.
Yeah,
It's very intelligent thing to
you're
say.
creating the one image of the movie. But that's one
Yeah.
thing I wanted to end on because I know I have been trying to get a sense of how you approach your paintings, and it is very interesting. Of course, this is like the recap bulleted list. You
Yes.
mentioned it's very cool that you bring your roots in poetry to the table, whether you intend it or
Mhm.
not, where you actually do start with an idea on paper a little bit and sort of jump into it. But do you kind of find it as if you're telling a story while making these different choices and decisions mid uh, painting?
I'm not sure if it's a story, but it's more of a series of emotions, And I think because, like, music will play heavily into it. And so, depending on what I'm listening to and how I'm feeling in that moment, and so maybe I'm lost in a memory, and so maybe a story is coming in through there, or if I'm feeling anxious about something, and then that comes through there. So, but the process in itself is the story, even if there isn't one being told,
I
if
like
that makes
that.
sense.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
That's very cool because it is hard, even at this age, you mentioned trying to explain this to somebody in elementary school, even at whatever age you are, abstract is abstract.
Yeah,
So
and I think, like, it's
it
it's hard to grasp at any age.
but it is interesting to hear, and it's accessible in the sense that the whole thing is the story. At least the
Mhm.
way I'm used to approaching art, that's helpful for me to learn, or familiarize how you approach your work and your technique.
Yeah, it kinda gives you that common ground, so you're like, "Oh, okay. I kind of understand your thought process, and so I can jump into your world, as it were."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, two more things. Both
2
are
more things.
very silly. One's just very. I have to do it. I don't even know
Okay.
if you can see the visuals. So, if you didn't know, YouTube, I stream on Twitch. I play video games. I'm the only one on Twitch to do that.
Yep, and the first
And the
too.
first, I was like,
Like,
all these people are live streaming their lives. Why don't I just play video games?
yeah.
And
Isn't your middle name Twitch too?
Greg Twitch Sego.
There you go.
um, and abstract and absurdism, I think that they are related. And I
Oh,
certainly love
absolutely.
absurdity. And on my streams, we have a lot of just non sequitur video alerts and sound alerts that you can unlock using Sego coin. What else?
How
The
fun is
more you
that?
watch, the more Sego coin you get. It's a currency that I would not bring to your local bank. It's not. It's about as. It's about anyway. Um, but a very popular redeem is Byron Allen asks me a question. If you don't know who Byron Allen is, he was a late night comedy host where a show called Comics Unleashed. And it was the
Oh,
show
okay.
that you would watch if you were sick with a fever and couldn't fall asleep, or were jet lagged in a hotel uh, in a different time zone.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, what's so funny about the show is he has a round table of stand-up comedians, and the show is basically to showcase their stand-up routines.
Oh,
And it's very
goodness.
hard to segue from one type of comic to another, but boy did Byron try. And
Mhm.
what resulted were like the funniest, uh, most random questions. He'd ask like this person, he'd be like, "So what's this I hear about you going to Miami?" And then they'd be like, "Well, in Miami," and then it was a joke about Miami, and then the crowd would laugh, and then he'd be like to this person, "So I heard you got married," and they're just like, it doesn't flow. And then the next thing is like, "I hear you don't like Nissan sedans," and it just the more specific and weird. So we have somebody in the community, a dear community member, Elite Deuce is his name, and he had the idea that I bring up Byron Allen to ask each guest one random question. Would you
All
like to
right.
be the inaugural question asked person?
Let's do it.
Okay. I didn't click it open yet. I should have prepared this. I remembered halfway. Sorry, Elite Deuce. He has been bugging me to make this.
So is it going to be a clip from?
Yeah, I have. Since I'm insane, I have clipped like 50 questions he asked. It was from a YouTube
Oh,
compilation,
okay.
and
I see.
they're like they randomly play if you redeem this sound, and it's a big hit. All right,
Yeah.
so we have pick a number between. Oh my god, did I really clip 87 different Byron Allen clips? 1 through 87.
Pick a number.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with lucky number 4.
Okay. I'm gonna open this up, and did you hear that?
Yes. Did he ask? Are you a big sports fan?
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. No, I'm not a big sports fan.
There we go. Yay!
Yay.
New segment unlocked. Well, thank you, Kerri Curtis. Where can we find you?
On Instagram,
No, I mean where? Like no.
my exact coordinates. Yeah. We are zeroing in right now. But yeah, I'm just on Instagram, Kerri Curtis Art. I have a website, kerricurtisart.com. I am on Twitter, same handle, but I use it for mostly doom scrolling. I don't really participate anymore, so there you go.
Very nice. Well, thank you for being here, and as we say, have a good life. We'll see you soon.
Have a good life. We will see you soon. Thank you. Thank you very much.